What would you do if everything you knew, everything you relied on, was suddenly torn away? If you found yourself alone, injured, and facing near certain death in a place where no one could hear you scream? This isn't just a story of survival. It's a story about the invisible line between life and death, and the incredible strength that emerges when you have no other choice. A story that asks the question we all wonder, but hope never to answer. What would I do if I shouldn't be alive, but I had to be? Hello and welcome. To every new viewer discovering our channel today, we're grateful you're here. We explore stories of human resilience, tales that test the limits of the human spirit. If you're ready to embark on this journey with us, please take a moment to subscribe and ring the notification bell. It truly helps us continue bringing you these powerful stories. Now, let's step into a world where every second counts, and every decision means the difference between life and death. For Alex Reynolds, this particular Tuesday morning felt comfortable, routine. The familiar weight of his car keys, the precise way he packed his suitcase for a simple overnight business trip. He was a man who found solace in predictability. His life was measured in meeting schedules and flight itineraries. As he moved through his sunlit kitchen, there was no premonition of danger. He was thinking about the presentation he'd give that afternoon, about being home in time to read his daughter a bedtime story. The ordinary is beautiful in its simplicity, until it becomes a memory you'd give anything to reclaim. The first hint of trouble was subtle, a darkening of the sky that seemed aggressive. The weather report on the car radio mentioned turbulence, but pilots always say that. It's meant to reassure. But as Alex drove toward the airport, the clouds didn't just look like rain. They looked like a wall, a solid, impenetrable mass of gray and black. He felt a twinge of something, not quite fear, but unease. The planner in him checked his watch, calculating if the storm might delay his flight. He pushed the feeling down. We are experts at dismissing discomfort, at rationalizing the signs that scream something is wrong. It's a survival mechanism, until it isn't. In the airport terminal, surrounded by the anonymous buzz of strangers, Alex did what we all do. He sent a quick text. Love you all. See you tonight. He looked at the photo on his phone, his wife's smiling face, his daughter's gap-toothed grin. It was a gesture so small, so automatic. He didn't even think about it. The final moments of normalcy are often the most peaceful and the most haunting in retrospect. If this story is already pulling you in, you're not alone. The journey is just beginning. Please show your support by liking this video, and if you haven't already, subscribing is the best way to follow Alex's incredible journey to the very end. The initial turbulence was a gentle rocking, a rhythmic bumping that drew a few nervous laughs. Then, without warning, the plane dropped. The cabin lights flickered and died. Oxygen masks dropped like plastic fruit. The screams were not shouts of surprise, but raw, primal sounds of terror. The plane wasn't flying, it was being torn apart. Alex was thrown against his seatbelt, his vision blurring, the world becoming a violent, deafening chaos of screaming metal and screaming people. In those final seconds, there was no time for goodbyes. only the overwhelming physical certainty of ending. Silence. Not quiet. Silence. The kind that feels heavy. Absolute. Alex came to, his head throbbing, his mouth filled with the coppery taste of blood. He was hanging upside down, held only by his seatbelt. The plane was broken in half. Rain fell through the gaping hole where the roof should have been. And the moans, the few, weak moans from other passengers, slowly faded away, until there was only the sound of the wind and his own ragged, panicked breathing. He was alone. Utterly, terrifyingly alone. Adrenaline is a cruel master. It grants strength but blocks pain, allowing you to see your own body as a problem to be solved. Alex's leg was badly injured. With shaking hands, he ripped his shirt, found a piece of debris straight enough to be a splint, and bound his wound. The pain was a distant fire. His mind, the mind of a planner, kicked in. Shelter, water, fire. But the wilderness mocked his plans. His attempts to start a fire failed. As the sun vanished, the cold became a physical presence, seeping into his bones. The darkness was absolute, and every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, was a predator he couldn't see. This was no longer a problem to be solved. It was an environment designed to kill him. The will to survive is being tested in ways we can only imagine. If Alex's story is resonating with you, please take a second to share this video with someone who appreciates a powerful true story. Your shares make a huge difference. Dawn broke, not with a bang but with a slow gray light. The storm had passed, leaving a world washed clean and bitterly cold. And then he heard it, faint at first, then unmistakable, the drone of an engine, a search plane. A surge of energy, pure and electric, shot through him. He scrambled, found a piece of reflective metal, and hauled himself up a rocky slope, ignoring the searing pain in his leg. He waved the metal, flashing it toward the sky. He screamed with a voice he didn't recognize, a raw, animal sound. He poured every ounce of hope into that tiny speck in the sky, and then it flew on. It didn't waver, it didn't circle, it just left. The silence that returned was louder than the engine had ever been. It was the sound of hope, dying. Strained but growing with determination, despair is a weight that crushes you into the ground. He lay there for what felt like an eternity, but somewhere beneath the crushing hopelessness, a stubborn ember glowed. If they wouldn't find him, he would find them. It was a desperate, foolish plan, but it was a plan. He fashioned a crude crutch and began to walk. Every step was a negotiation with agony. He found water, drinking greedily from a stream, only to be racked later with violent sickness. He was moving, but he was getting weaker, lost in an endless sea of trees and rock. The wilderness was vast, and he was so small. The sky, once again, turned against him. The rain returned, not as a shower, but as a deluge, icy, relentless. His body, pushed far beyond its limits, finally surrendered. His leg buckled, and he fell face first into the churning mud. As he lay there, the rain washing over him, he saw the family photo, his most precious possession, slip from his pocket. It landed face down in the muck, just inches from his fingers. He lacked the strength to reach for it. This was it. This was how it ended, not with a fight, but with a slow, cold, fading away. The will to live was finally, completely extinguished. In the gray space between consciousness and nothingness, he didn't see a bright light. He heard a sound, his daughter's laugh, and then a memory, crystal clear. Not a birthday or a holiday, but a moment of failure. His daughter falling off her bike, scraping her knee. He had fumbled for a bandage, but his wife had simply knelt, held her, and said, "It's okay to fall, sweetheart. Getting back up is the brave part." The words echoed, not as a memory, but as a command. His eyes snapped open. The rain was still falling. The mud was still cold. But something had shifted. The ember was now aflame. He raft, pushed himself up. It was not a graceful movement. It was a raw, guttural act of defiance. He was not the planner anymore. He was an animal, fighting for its life. He found a trickle of fuel from a ruptured line and soaked a rag. He built a nest of tinder with painstaking care. And when the spark caught, when the small flame grew and began to produce a column of thick, white smoke, it wasn't just a fire. It was a signal, a declaration. It said, "I am still here." The sound, when it came, was different, deeper, a rhythmic thump, thump, thump that grew from a whisper to a thunder. A red helicopter crested the mountain ridge. When the medics reached him, he didn't cry. He didn't cheer. He simply looked at them, a profound exhaustion and an even more profound peace in his eyes. The fight was over. He had kept his promise. In the helicopter, wrapped in a blanket, looking down at the world that had tried to kill him, he felt no hatred, no anger. He felt a quiet reverence. They would later tell him he had beaten impossible odds, but he knew the truth. The odds don't matter. What matters is the choice, moment by moment, to take one more breath, to take one more step, to get back up. This story is a testament to the resilience that lies dormant within us all. If Alex's journey moved you, impacted you, or made you think, please help us share this message. Liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this with someone. These actions help these stories reach those who need to hear them. We are deeply grateful for your time. Tell us in the comments, what does survival mean to you? Thank you for watching. Remember, the strongest force in the universe is the human will. Until next time.